All right, Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Just a short time ago, these Philly fans in full roar as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. Pyrotechnics ablaze. They're set to go as their Eagles will match up with Eli Manning and the New York Giants. The final playoff push is upon us. It's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This is taken about 7 yards deep, and no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. On 1st and 10, here's Manning. It finds his target, Beckham. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Now Saquon Barkley, a man who played collegiately here in the Keystone State. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs. So a solid run by Saquon Barkley, and another 1st and 10 here. Manning now on 1st down. He finds Malcolm Mitchell there. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. Just the first quarter, but tackling going to be so important going forward. They've got to limit plays like that.
And that's something when you see it happen early in the game and they don't get him on the ground, you can always tell that they were concerned about it going in. Because I can just tell you from my days, I remember being in college and worrying all offseason about our season opener opponent. And they had a receiver that could shake and bake with the best of them. I tackled him on the first pass of the game, and the relief was incredible. Ended up having a pretty decent ball game. But if I had missed him, it would have been a long night.
Here now is 2nd and 10, again from the 41. On 2nd down, here's Barkley. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. Call that a loss of 5 yards on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. Working from the gun, Manning. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. On play action, it's Wentz. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Alec Ogletree. And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week, 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away. And that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals. And if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Here's a give to Barkley. And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. Well, they were handed great starting field position on this drive, but now they face a 3rd and 4. To throw, it's Manning. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete, certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up 4th down. And Rosas puts this one through. And the Giants are off now to a 3-0 lead. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces them to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. It's what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
Wentz. And a reception made by Alshon Jeffrey. The first catch for Jeffrey. Good enough for a 1st down. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now it's the all-purpose back. This is Darren Sproles. And able to get this one all the way up to about the 46-yard line. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Now it's the Boise State alum, Jay Ajayi. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. Now after the running play, we've got a man down on the field. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. 2 first downs have him up near midfield now on 1st and 10. Here's Sproles. And he's going to get this past the 50 and into Giant territory. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Now it's Sproles. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. Now we'll get a stoppage here as it appears we've got an Eagle slow to get up. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Now Wentz on 3rd down. Aguilar has it. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a 1st down.
They'll run with a former Badger. It's Corey Clement. And he'll fall forward to the 29-yard line. On second down, here's Wentz. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes. The man they call Snacks, Damon Harrison, forcing his way through there to drop him for a loss of a good 10 yards. Eagles coming up here on a 3rd and long, so Wentz and company with some work to do after the sack.
Here we go. 120.
Working from the gun, Wentz. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Eli Apple. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at the 20. They'll start out on the ground, and Saquon Barkley. And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
One thing rookies need to learn at this level, and quick. Make a cut, be decisive, and go. Because in college, you could dance around and wait for a hole to open because you're probably a better athlete than most of the guys on the field, but not on the NFL level.
Now Manning. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Nigel Bradham, the linebacker, right there on the coverage. And that's twice now already in this first quarter that he's been able to knock a ball away.
They're going to need that from him and plenty more if they want to slow down this passing game. Thus far, though, he's been a ball magnet.
Throwing is Manning on 3rd down. And now the ball comes out. Manning lost it.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively, obviously. 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week? Not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with him. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down. So the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Now Wentz throwing on 2nd down. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. Now we'll get a stoppage here as it appears we've got an Eagle slow to get up. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. On 3rd and long, it's Wentz. Going long here for Wallace. And here's another interception, the 3rd of this first quarter. Picked off down at the 10. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Broden Gordon. It's the Giants with a football here as we begin quarter number 2. They take over 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. So after the INT, it's Manning. Pressure gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line. Timmy Jernigan. Busting through to get him for a loss of 6. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. From the gun, it's Manning. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
Well, let's go ahead and detail this situation here. 3rd and long coming up. Back near your own goal line. I would be very hesitant about throwing the football in this situation.
Maybe just run up the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be the spot for them. You got to try and find some space for your punter because you don't want him backed up where he has to alter what he does.
On 3rd and long, it's Manning. Looking for his receiver, sharp, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Mills. And he'll score. Touchdown, Eagles. Make it back-to-back weeks now with a pick 6 for him. He had one a week ago.
Talk about being in the groove, and what are the odds of what we're seeing right here? You don't see it happen very often. Listen, if you get a pick 6 in a season, it's been a big year, let alone back-to-back weeks. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't play cards against this guy in the locker room.
That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Giants offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And still a lot of football to be played in this season. We're only in November. A lot can happen between now and January. But if it ended today, they would just be on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So a lot to fight for.
Yeah, and wasn't it interesting in our meeting with the coaching staff that they all made sure to let us know. We know where we are right now. But the playoffs don't start tomorrow. We still got some time, and they plan on putting it together, formulating a streak, get the whole month of December still left to play. They think they can get in.
And they made it very obvious to us that there's no playoff talk in the locker room right now. It's win this game and look to next week.
Excellent focus.
Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. Fletcher Cox in there to get him. Sack number 14 for him on the year. Sacks a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Shotgun now for Manning. Buying time to his left. Over the middle, the catch made by Mitchell. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
And that's why you do all the drills that you do from the quarterback position, because you're not going to just throw to your strength. The right-handed quarterback naturally will want to move to the right side to throw the football. But sometimes you've got to go left, and that's exactly what happened on that play. Forced to his left, still able to accurately throw it downfield for a completion.
3rd catch of this first half for him, and this one is a 1st down. Manning now, after the pick on the last drive, 3 for 3 to start this drive. It's 1st and 10. From the gun, Manning. And he was hit as he threw it there, and it forces it incomplete.
Well, the pressure, the hits, the sacks have been coming at him all game long. I'm frankly surprised that they haven't found a solution yet to create more time for him to throw it or maybe change what they do on offense.
And that's one of the biggest differences in this game and why they're losing right now. Back to the air on 2nd down. It's Manning. Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Shepard. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Again, it's Manning. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Jordan Hicks. That's sort of a second quarter to forget for him. Now 2 picks in this frame.
Almost as if the first one that he threw, he couldn't shake, couldn't get it out of his head. He ends up throwing a second one as a result.
Compounds the mistake a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be able to forget, compartmentalize, whatever you want to call it, and move on. He hasn't been able to do so here in the second.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11.
Here we go. 280! Sunday!
Wentz to throw on second down. That is caught inside the 5. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. A really nice gain of 25 yards. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. Nothing doing there. They're going to wind up holding him at the 2. No gain there, and it's going to set up 2nd and goal. So stuffed from the 2. Now what?
You know me pretty well. What do you think I want here?
Play action?
Definitely. Let him get outside and create. And if he has to run it, he has a little bit more space.
He's going to get it running right. And he's in. Touchdown, Eagles. A great play there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Eagles add on to their lead. Elliott now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. Here's the Giant offense now making their way back out onto the field. And 2 picks thrown here in this first half alone. We'll see how that affects him.
Can't wait to see where his confidence is, because the great ones, they'll throw 4 or 5 picks, and while it'll hurt their team, it won't hurt their confidence. They'll think something was just wrong with the ball.
Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. Mike Bennett in there to sack him, and that is 10 for him now on the year. Sacks a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. A handoff to Barkley. And he'll push forward for about 4 up to the 23.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense, because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
On 3rd down, Manning. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Jordan Hicks. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27. So that is 3 interceptions now in this first half. And you hate to ask the question, but let's be honest. We're thinking about it. Do you need to go in a different direction next series?
Potentially. We know that he's probably not going to be on the Pro Bowl ballot. That's not really his stature here. But he has been their starting quarterback for this game. So they've got to weigh things about who's behind him. Do they think he can snap it back into gear? Maybe change up the play calling to help him out a little bit.
2 minutes to go here in the first half. We'll come back to Philadelphia after this.
On the mark!
Now Wentz. And not only did he drop it, he dropped it in the end zone.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Wentz going to throw. That's going to be caught. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
So an incomplete pass a moment ago, and that leads to second and goal. Again, it's Wentz. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you'd better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
This is Clement. And this will result in him losing yardage. Back to the 3. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Kick by Elliott is good. And they will stretch the lead now to 17-3. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they could not punch it in.
And credit the defense, too. Make sure that happens because that was the old bend but don't break approach. Made sure they contained them when they absolutely had to and forced the field goal attempt that went through.
New York set to take the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you've got to figure if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Manning going to throw. And Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. Chris Long in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year. They fake the handoff. Now Manning. Unable to corral him. He fights through. It's caught. Shepard. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. One final try now for Manning. It's complete on the bubble screen. That's Shepard. So we've come to halftime here in Philly with the Eagles on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach, so the Eagles with the lead, and they're going to get this football first as the third quarter gets underway. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the third quarter. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Shorty.
They run with Ajayi. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down.
So statistically, both of these offenses having a rough time getting a running game going. But, boy, what a nice play there defensively.
Tackling him behind the line, but you're right. You look at the numbers. Neither side looks on track in the ground game. The Eagles on third down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 5. From the gun, it's Wentz. Drops it off to Ajayi. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you either throw.
And down he goes. They bring down Wentz on the sack. Dalvin Tomlinson in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10. So now 20 yards to go on second down after the sack. Work to be done.
81.
Here's Wentz to throw. He's going to wind up and air it out. And that's caught inside the 30. A gain of 39 that time.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
This is Ajayi. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Tough first half for him. Unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Here's Ajayi. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. It's a 10-yard gain there, and it sets him up now 1st and goal.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line.
And as we've seen throughout this season, it's no picnic trying to score touchdowns against this unit. They're ranked number 1 against the run. But it's also difficult because it's not easy to throw the ball against them either.
Now they'll throw it. Wentz. He's got a convoy, and he might be gone. And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Giants touchdown. Short throw, pick 6 right there. Those linebackers, they love when those short throws come and those eyes get real wide, don't they?
How about the anticipation on the play? Reading, reacting, and then the ability to catch the football and take it in the opposite direction.
Rosas good with the extra point, and that slices the lead down to 17-10. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Here comes Eagle offense now as they get set to take over here. And following the pick 6, and they have decent field position in throwing that pick 6. We'll see how they attack this drive.
And I think all you say to your guy is, listen, let's just take care of the football a little bit better. Make some better decisions on this drive, and they'll probably help him a little bit with maybe some really high percentage throws early to let him get settled back in.
But they told us they've got confidence. That's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all. They just want to make sure they get things settled down a little bit for their offense and give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest.
They stay on the ground. Again, it's Ajayi. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
That's incomplete. Nearly another pick. My goodness. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
From the gun on third down, Wentz. And this is going to be incomplete. Janoris Jenkins with good coverage that time as he was able to get in there and knock it away. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense, they spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their own 18. Looking to get the ground game going with Stewart. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Manning to throw on 2nd down. Over the middle, he's got his tight end Ingram. Now the ball comes loose, and the Eagles have recovered.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. And they'll get him down right about the 20. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
High throw, but he makes the catch. It's a nice pickup at 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Eagles in possession of the football and leading this one as we get ready to start the final quarter. The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal.
Lefty, lefty.
Wentz now to throw. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Ray Armstrong. Tough to handle on that blitz. He gets him for a loss of 5. Eagles coming up here on a 3rd and long, so Wentz and company with some work to do after the sack. Now it's a Giant, and they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
So his second field goal of the game, and that could turn out to be the big one.
Yeah, you have to make them score twice to beat you, and that's not impossible. But here in the 4th quarter, puts their backs clearly against the wall.
After the field goal, here's Elliott to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Giant offense now as they get ready to take over here. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
You like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. Is that word again, symptomatic?
Yeah. I like that. Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. On 1st down, Manning. And they're not able to hook up there. Incomplete. Nigel Bradham, the linebacker, right there on the coverage. He started out having some troubles back in the first half connecting with his receivers. Really hasn't gotten a whole lot better.
Yeah, he's at less than 50%, and you and I both know that just won't do. So I would think about spreading things out, putting it on the receivers, make them win those one-on-one battles on the perimeter, and find their way open.
On play action, it's Manning. He's going to let it go deep for Mitchell. And that is caught one-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Malcolm Mitchell, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Giants able to get this back within a touchdown. PAT up and good by Rosas. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Rosas now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. That last touchdown has made this really tight. They're clinging now to this slim lead. Second half, they only have a field goal. This offense needs to kick it into gear.
And right now, I'm looking directly at the field general and the quarterback, because to me, he's got to take over right now. By word, pumping his team up, and then, of course, by deed with his play. My high school coach used to say that all the time. Laddie, take over by word and deed.
And deed means action.
Exactly.
Here we go. 180.
They run again with a Giant. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bringing up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means it might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key 3rd down. Highlight that word. Put it in bold. Here we go. And they pick up 25 as they convert on 3rd.
Couldn't just sit on it here, could they? Had to throw the ball on 3rd down. Got the big completion in the pickup. Fresh set of downs now. They've got to feel great.
And defensively, a backbreaker. And they'll run it here. And he's got some space here. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. 25 yards, the pickup there, and also a 1st down. I guess he was saving his best for last, so to speak. Longest run of the day coming here in the fourth quarter right there.
And that type of run makes for a better night for him and his teammates, doesn't it? To be able to produce this late in the game can lead to some big smiles and satisfaction in the locker room after this one's over.
On the carry, here's Clement. And he'll get a couple here down to the 22. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. The Eagles on third down. Not quite 50%. 4 for 9. This is 3rd and 8. Throwing is Wentz. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And Elliott puts this one through. And that will double their lead as it's up to 6. So they get the 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. New York set to take the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
They begin with a run by Barkley. He finds an opening past the 40. He's at the 50. The 20. 10. Touchdown, Giants. Saquon Barkley, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Giants are an extra point away from leading this game. And that run massively increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And break out your calculator, partner, because his yards per carry went up significantly, right? Big-time jaunt all the way to the end zone.
A very important extra point there, up and good, and they have taken the lead here in this 4th quarter. Rosas now to kick this one away. Now Philadelphia ready to get going on offense again. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
There to stop him on the defensive side, Lorenzo Carter.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
On second down, here's Wentz. They dump off underneath to Ajayi. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and that is going to set up a 3rd and 1. And they'll go ground game here with the tailback. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains. Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. Wentz now on first down. Cortez at left side. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. A gain of 6 there on first. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. Now Wentz throwing on second down. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. I guess you can't be afraid to take those chances late in the game. He tried to fit that one in there. Nice job, though, defensively.
But to your point, it was a nice job of knocking the ball away. But you're also right. You can't be afraid to take those chances. That means your guys going downfield to catch the ball, they've got to elevate their game and come down with these in order to keep your offense moving.
Escaping and he can't get a throw away. He's taken down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on fourth down. Now Wentz, gotta have this one. Now a desperate, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off by Landon Collins. And they are going to set up shop at the 40-yard line. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used the calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it. And that's where he is right now. He's just locked in a really bad way.
Another running situation on the doorstep as they come up 2nd and 10. They'll try and grind some clock. It's Stewart. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They go back to Stewart on 1st. Some extra space following the display of power. Down just inside the 45. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense, as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. Now Saquon Barkley, and maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Manning will take a knee, and that should be the final act in this one.
Partner, they took a knee to finish this one off. To me, that's the only thing they lost in the 4th quarter. How about that comeback?
Yeah, trailed coming into the last frame. Got it done, taking the knee. Football League, Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room.